before that, I didn't believe in myself. I didn't think that I could be this. I didn't think that I could take 11 trips in 9 months. I didn't think that I could be on tour with Wu-Tang Clan. I didn't think that I could be speaking with Taraji P. Henson. I didn't.
I'm going to introduce you to the amazing Aria the Bawse. Now, when I first heard that term, I had to look it up because I didn't quite understood what it meant. It was the first time I had seen it. But this woman has been through a world of horrors and hells, and she has managed to turn all of that hell into her own heaven. And so I want to take this opportunity to welcome Aria to the show. And I know that we're going to have a wonderful chat this evening. So, Aria, I'm starting off today on a different note. I want to ask you today, what is your mission?
My mission is to make sure that everybody that crosses my path, one, knows that God is real, and two, acts on faith instead of fear. Everybody that crosses my path, to believe in themselves.
Right. There's the sun is shining on. How is that sun or something shining on?
It is the sun, and I just don't know what to do here. So, so I'm in like a limbo. So we'll just leave it like that over there, you know.
Yeah, that works. Okay, all right. So, what led you down this path, Aria?
God led me down this path. I could take full responsibility of where I am today, but that wouldn't be the appropriate answer. What led me down this path, not just God, but curiosity, knowing that I was different, not wanting to settle, knowing my power without truly knowing my power is what led me here.
So you knew there was something inside of you, even though you don't know what exactly it is, but you knew that it's there and you trusted in that and you just followed the path.
Yes.
Awesome. So I read through your bio and I found an article online on you as well. And I wanted to ask you, at what points in your life were you homeless and how did you end up being homeless?
All right. So there were 2 points in my life where I was actually homeless. One, I was 18. I just turned 18 3 days ago. And, it was just so many things going on with my mom and, just not getting what I needed. And, I experienced teenage homelessness. And I also experienced homelessness when I fled from a domestic violence relationship in December of 2019. So, I was with my daughter, actually. So, and in that time, I just, instead of, crying or spending all of my time crying, because there were nights where I got into bed with my daughter and I cuddled and I cried for 15 minutes while she was sleeping, and I got back up on Clubhouse and I had this idea of myself and who I was going to be, and I stood in that, and this is me now.
So you said 2019, and now you are a model, you are an international model, you design clothes, you've been on various TV shows, ABC, NBC, and so on and so forth. So that means there is only a short span of time between when you were homeless to now being worldwide famous and successful and all of that. So walk us through what it took you to get from being homeless with your daughter to living the life that you're living now.
Faith.
Faith.
I had to believe that I was better than my circumstances. I had to believe that I deserved more than, what the devil was putting in front of me as God's work. I knew I had to learn the difference. And, I said to myself, I'm going to stop being the victim and I'm going to participate in my own rescue. And once I read Building a Millionaire Mindset by one of my mentors, Johnny Wimbry, that changed my life. And I was no longer now waiting for someone to rescue me. I was no longer waiting for, a man. You know how nowadays with women, the guy has to have the money and you just sit around and be pretty? No, because if his bag stops, then what? So I decided to really become self-sufficient and stand in my queendom.
Wow. And so so that was a decision you made, and that this decision shifted your mindset and allowed you to think outside of where you were at, right? Allowed you to not identify with the place that you were in. So what was the first thing that you did after coming to that decision?
Never look back.
You didn't look.
The first thing that I did after making that decision was not looking back. And I say that because after we make a decision, we come up with excuses sometimes. Oh, I'm not going to go to the gym. Oh, I'm not, you revisit. I said, I'm not looking back. I'm not going to revisit. I made my decision and that's it. So that was a decision within my decision to move forward with the decision.
Okay, so you had that you had a mentor while you were homeless or before you were homeless, and then you became homeless, and you read the book while you were homeless, correct?
Yes.
So you decided that you needed not to be a victim anymore, right? You decided that you needed to change your life to not end up, because this would have been the second time that you've been homeless. So you decided that you don't want to be there anymore. So you want to change your life. That was a decision you made, a mental decision. But what was it that you did physically? Did you get a job? Did you go to school? What was it that you did physically in order to move from that space to a place where you were more hopeful?
I just put myself out there. I started telling my story. I started not being afraid. I embraced my journey. So I was in clubhouse rooms like, hey y'all, if y'all could run up my last post, or hey y'all, if you could show me some support, that would be amazing. And also I just want to let y'all know I'm in the shelter with my daughter right now, and it's okay. Like you literally, can be amazing. You can be greater. And I just started inspiring people. I went from 9.8K to almost 11.3K, organically, just telling people, about me and about what I'm going through, but not in a victim way, in a victor way, showing them the light. So it's people that I've known on Clubhouse that have known me since I was in the shelter, to see that growth in me. So this is real life stuff here. All you have to do is believe in yourself. That's it.
So basically you just started telling your story. And I know that there are people who are afraid of telling their stories. They're ashamed of their stories. They're afraid that they'll be ridiculed because of their current situation. You were not afraid of that?
No, because I wasn't focused on the people that would ridicule me. I was focused on the mother that needed that strength. I was focused on the person that really wanted to leave their abusive situation and they needed that strength. I was focused on the people who would hear my story and love it, because I know people are going to talk regardless. People are going to say things regardless. So now when I open up my mouth, I only have the intention or it's only with the intention to impact the person that will receive it.
Right. So you completely disregard what people might say. but you know what your message is, and you just go out there and focus on that.
And people were talking crap. People were like, "Oh well, how does she still have Wi-Fi? How she have Wi-Fi and she in the shelter? How she how she able to get these brand deals?" And she, I had people were talking about me. People were talking about me, and guess what? It's still buzz. It's still buzz. And now those same people that were talking about me, trying to make my life miserable and horrible, now they're the same ones like, I'm so proud of you. This come up is so amazing. Oh, da da da. That's what I'm saying. You can't let their words hold you back, because their words are holding them back. Don't let that work for you.
Yeah. That's amazing. So, okay, so you got on social media, you got popular on social media. Now you were getting brand deals and so on as an influencer, correct?
Yes.
How did the modeling come into play?
Well, I started fashion, like modeling, in college. So I did graduate from college with my 4-year degree in psychology. So I started doing runway in college. So modeling is a big part of my confidence, where I built my confidence, because it takes confidence to slay on that runway. And if you don't have confidence, people could see it. So I just started to really walk in my confidence. I'm like, I rule this runway. And now the world is my runway.
So that's where, okay, so, and then after you were through with college, how did you get into international modeling?
Well, I was just putting myself out there, and a brand from Barbados reached out to me, and they wanted to work with me, and it's Emerald Models, and she was so beautiful, so kind, so nice. Her name is Cheryl, and honestly, I got invited by Mr. Debonair to do Paris Fashion Week in March. But you have to be vaccinated and with the booster, and I'm not there. So but I mean, it's still just by putting myself out there. That's it.
Right. See, I'm asking these questions because the purpose of this show, right, is to shift mindsets, right? So I want to help people to understand that no matter where you are in life, you can move to a reality that you desire. You just have to want it bad enough, and you just have to change your thinking about it, and you just have to be confident and bold and believe in your power. So I'm sorry if I'm going into the nitty-gritty, but I really want people to understand that there really are no limits, right? So that's why I'm digging into it with all of that. So forgive me.
No, we're fine.
Okay, awesome. All right, now I've heard we met on Clubhouse, right? And I've heard you talk about your repurposing of clothing. What inspired that?
Oh, not having any money. I just started, I just had my first Amazon Prime deal in February. The world shut down. It was going to be this huge televised showcase for Runway, and the world shut down. So now I'm just building up my social media, and I don't have any money. I have a daughter, Leilani, so her school closed first and foremost. So now I'm in a position where I need stuff for my brand. So I looked into my closet. I said, what can I do? And I made, out of a pair of jeans and these sort of, old looking shoes that I had, I made thigh-high boots out of those. I made shirts out of jeans that I could no longer fit because I gained some weight. So I just started, you know what? I started not letting life knock me out the game. Because I could have easily said, I don't have any money. I got to fall back. I don't have this. I gotta fall back. How big is the obstacle to knock you out of the game? So if I would have stopped, clothing could have stopped this right here. So I just always am solution based, because nothing is bigger than my will to win.
Right. You hear that, people? Nothing is bigger than my will to win. I would suggest that you take that as a daily affirmation. I love that one. That one
That's
is
funny.
really, really good. So, what beliefs did you have to change to go from being homeless twice to creating the life that you have created?
What belief did I have to change? That I wasn't worth it. And I had to date back to the time where I felt like, when did I feel like I wasn't worth it? So that belief that I had to change, that I wasn't worth it, and that I don't have the power to really take control of my life. I had to change that thinking. Now I'm in control, and now I know I can be anything I want to be.
Okay, so if I was sitting here in front, say I was in front of you at your house now, right? Someone introduced me to you as someone who needs to change, someone who needs to revolutionize their situation. And someone brought me to you, put me down in front of you on your sofa, maybe in your sofa in your living room, and they said to you, this young woman is distraught. She is outside of herself. She no longer believes in what she's capable of. She's been tossed aside. She's been beaten down. What would you say to me?
I would tell you to pick your head up. I would tell you that you are so amazing and so beautiful and so awesome that if these people can't see your light, then that's okay. And listen, it's not okay, though, for you not to see your light, because you are supposed to be your biggest supporter. So what I want you to do is go back and find that source. Who is your source? And that should be God. But it may be different for you. But find out who's your source, who gives you that power. That's not a human being, but a spiritual being. And then I want you to go back to the drawing board. What do you love to do? What makes you happy? And then in finding out what you love to do and what makes you happy, we can construct a plan. We can map out a plan. All we need to know is what you want to do. You find a mentor, somebody that loves you dearly, that can get you on that path. But you have to first know that you want to be on a path. And you have to know that by knowing what you're going to take with you to prepare for that journey. You got this.
I like it. I like it.
Then I'll probably give you a hug, all fun stuff.
Right. Okay, so you're out there on the big stage. People are obviously loving you. Well, some of them are probably just following because they want to hate on you, but majority, I'm going to say, people are loving you, and you've been interviewed by various TV stations, and you have 20,000 followers on Instagram. That means you have to be doing something right? What is the legacy that you want to leave behind for those people who are looking to you for inspiration, those people who are looking to you as a guide? Because some of us, there are some of us who think we're small, right? And they think, there are people who think they don't have anything to contribute to the world. And I found this African proverb one day. I was trying to make a YouTube video, and I found this African proverb, and it says, if you think you are too small to make a difference, try sleeping with a mosquito, right? So a mosquito can stop you from sleeping for the whole night, right? Disturb your rest, and then, the next day your day is all messed up, and your whole week can just get messed up just like that, and that's a mosquito, right? So there are people out there who are thinking, my little voice, there's nothing I can do that will make a difference, right? And I say all the time that no matter who you are, somebody is looking at you and using you as an example and using you as a point of direction. So you who are out there, you are making an impact, you're an influencer. what kind of message do you want to be conveyed from your presence in the public space?
My message, that I'm a boss. I want the message to be that everybody that is around Aria, everybody that's attached to Aria comes out better, comes out more full. Like, you know, she is classy, she is, you know, funny, she is, like, you know, well, I want to leave behind a message in its entirety of love. Like, I want it to be where people look at me and they're like, Aria made sure everybody loved each other. Aria made sure everybody stuck together. Even when I'm modding the rooms, I'm like, oh, we'll make sure that we respect each other's voices. That, you know, so love. I hope I answered that question right.
Yeah, you pretty much. and what do you want Leilani, your daughter, to see in you and use as an example for herself? Not just and let's generalize this question. You have a daughter, Leilani. How old is she?
She's 4.
She's 4. Okay. Now, your daughter is 4. I know there are several other people who have daughters who are 4. I have a son who is 5. But what would you want your daughter to see in you as something that she can emulate as she grows up and becomes a teenager and possibly step into motherhood herself and working and earning and you didn't like that part, did you?
Well, she tells me all the time that I'm a good woman, I'm a good person, and that she's proud of me. So that was my whole entire thing, just making sure that I'm a good person, a good example for my daughter to have. And that it just makes me feel, thank you for asking me this question, because it makes me feel so, like, fulfilled, because I went to school pregnant. I never stopped going to school while I was pregnant. I had to turn the desk to the side, put another desk in front of that desk, like, you know, and then I gave birth on a Thursday and I was back at school on Monday. Okay. I literally never stopped going to school. And I did that to show my daughter strength. I did that to show her that she can follow her dreams. She can do and be whatever it is that she wants to be. And I do that by actively living out my dreams every day. And some people, you know, bring me down for, you know, working so hard on my dreams and my goals. But really, and these are for all, this is for all the parents out there, like, you know, don't keep your foot off the gas, because my parents, they weren't entrepreneurs. They worked a regular 9 to 5. And I still felt so lonely. There were still games that they couldn't make it to and events that they couldn't make it to. And so these are the same people that you wish you had more time with as a younger child. These are the people that you wish you got more from. So don't be afraid of doing what's hard first, to live a life now when she's 6 or 7, where I don't have to miss games. I don't have to miss, you know, all of these things, because I decided to pay the price now. So, you know, just don't give up, and just keep up your fight. Whether other people understand it or not, as long as you know you are doing this for a reason, you can't give up. You owe it to yourself to continue. So
yeah, I'm glad you said that, because I'm from Jamaica, right? And I've seen it where girls get pregnant in high school, or whether young in high school or at the end of closer to the end of their time in high school, and they got pregnant and that was it. Their life was over. You know, they either never came back from that. They went on to have more kids, and then their life was reduced to poverty, and it took them long to come back from that. I think there's a stigma attached to being a young pregnant woman or girl. It's as if once you get pregnant, that's the end of your life. No, there's no more life to live. That is the general consensus. I think it's something that is, what's the word I'm looking for? It is something that is instigated in society, right? So therefore, it's something that's said because they make it seem as if pregnancy is the most horrible thing that can happen to you as a young person. And so as a young person, if you do get pregnant, you then feel like, because society told you that this is a horrible thing to happen to you. If this happens to you, your life is over. So when they do get pregnant, their life is over because they have that mindset. So I'm glad you said that you were still going to school while you were pregnant, and I was still going to school while I was pregnant with my first child as well. I wasn't a teenager, but I was going to math classes. And I did my exam when I was pregnant, and I was going I was taking college courses when she was breastfeeding, and I pumped my breast and left the bottle and went to class and came back and all of that stuff. But not a lot of people do that. Once you get pregnant, that's it. So I'm glad you brought that up because that is very, very important. And
I'm sorry, it's the support too. Sharika, people told me I couldn't do it. My mom, my aunt, I was more mature than you when I was your age. You need to just get rid of the baby. You need to not go back to school. You need to. Everybody thought that they knew what I needed to do for my life. And here I proving everybody wrong. You know, and I was working 40 hours in 3 days, a full-time single mother during a week, and a full-time student during a week. So when I tell you that people will make you feel like you can't, only you know. And I still even push myself. Even when I'm working out, I'll say, okay, I'm going to do these push-ups for 30 seconds. And I still got some energy. I'm like, okay, girl, let's get to 45. Like, you always have to push yourself and never get comfortable and never let other people make you feel comfortable. Because it's always more that we got to go get. Period.
It's always more. I agree 100% with you, Aria. There, that's amazing. That is amazing. So,
girl, we have so many comments. We have so many people that jumped in the building. Salute. I did witness her still pushing through school while pregnant. Proud of you. Thank you so much. Wow.
Yeah. So, as I said. You have people who support you, are supporting you. They supported you then, they support you now, and hats off to those people. Not a lot of people have that, but then it comes down to, and that's why I exist. I honestly believe that's why I exist, for people, to help people to know that sometimes they have to believe in themselves. Just like you, all the people you had around you who were supposed to be your support system, those were the people who were telling you to just drop the bucket and give up. They were telling you to give up.
Oh, my greatest gift. My daughter, Leilani Yvette, she is my most prized possession. And we could move on, but she is the piece that got me Aria. And if I would have missed out on the opportunity to call her mine because of somebody else's feelings, I wouldn't even know what I missed out on.
Yeah, she was their inspiration.
Oh, my everything.
I get that completely, and I'm sure that she brings you a lot of joy, and she asks crazy questions and she says the cutest things. Because I have two of my own, so I know kids are amazing. They give a lot of talking, but they're amazing. So I appreciate you for that, Aria, and for being bold enough to share that with other people. What I want to ask you now is, why psychology? Why did you get a degree in psychology?
Well, I wanted to become a teacher, but and to teach children that they are not the problem. You know, that you know, with a healthy environment they can be great. Then I said, how can I do that with a curriculum? So then I said, you know, I want to move into psychology so that I could really talk to these kids without somebody telling me, you know, other things I got to teach them. And, once I found out that I was having my daughter, I started immediately transferring from like adolescent psychology and stuff like that to more so like childhood psychology, so I can learn her. I didn't have healthy examples of parents around me to know how to properly really be there for my kid. To know
Right.
that children could be depressed. To know that, I switched to psychology to help children and to help people work through their stuff before we get to our riches, or we're just going to end up with riches and still with stuff. That's why a lot of famous people turn to drugs, they turn to alcohol, they either beefing with each other, they're this, because they have still not found themselves. They found a way, but they have not found themselves and their true purpose. So yeah, psychology is deep for me. I learned
Yeah.
myself. I learned others. It's amazing to teach you compassion and how to genuinely be a good, better, like a good person for others.
Yeah. I agree. I agree. And I've always used that statement that you just used about people who have found a way to make money, but still don't know how to actually live, how to be human, how to be loving, and how to even connect with themselves. And that is the core of my coaching program, because I think everything starts with the self. Everything, because you connect with God through yourself. And in order for you to do that, you need to learn to love yourself. You need to connect with you. Are you still with me?
I'm totally with you. Yes, yes.
Okay, I thought I lost you there for a moment, but yeah, definitely. So I love psychology too. I didn't study psychology, but I intend to, because I want to chop this thing up, because the fundamental problem that we have as human beings, as I always say, is a mindset fact. It's a mindset issue. It's how we perceive the world, right? Just like you, when your family perceives you as someone who now needs to give up because you're having a child, you had a different perception, and because you had a different perception, you were able to create a life that they could not even see or fathom or grasp or begin to even understand, because you had a different mindset, you had a different perception. And so I think it's really, really important that every single person understand that at the core of their being, the core of the decisions that they make, the core of the steps that they take, the core of the way they smile, the core of the way they relate to others, it's all down to their perception. It's all down to how they think about things. If we could all understand that, Aria, the world would be such an amazing place. I honestly believe that. So yeah, hats off to you for psychology. I think you and I can sit down and have some really amazing conversations. But spirituality, what does that mean for you?
Spirituality for me means when I think of spirituality, I think of like self. I know that may be a little crazy to think about, but my spiritual journey started by taking a chance on myself. And that is where, on my way back, I'm going to tell you a story time real quick. So I literally flew to a foreign country by myself. I almost got taken. Okay. But I still decided to look at the positive. I still knew God was with me. And, on my back, my first was revealed to me 777. Now, mind you, I didn't plan this trip. I wasn't prepared for this trip. I literally said to myself, so many people have come to me during this week. I've saved so many lives. Like, when you become that liaison, people tend to pour things on you. And I said, I deserve to go to this trip. I deserve to go. All my business partners were going. My friend from the Virgin Islands, she landed on my doorstep, like randomly, because her flight got delayed. So she left that next day. I was tossing and turning all night. I said to myself, I'm going to ask you one more time. That's how I said it to myself. I'm going to ask you one more time. Do you really want to go? And I said yes. And remember, I told you, after that, I never looked back. I made my decision and I never looked back. And I was booking my one way back on the way there. So mind you, I didn't have a hotel. I didn't have anything. I was trying to sneak in with my friends, like get this motivation. It wasn't to have fun. It was because my mentor said, never miss a training, never miss a training. I was going to watch it virtual. And I'm like, I need to be there. Something is telling me I have to be here. So I took a chance. And like I told you, my first angel number 777 was revealed to me. As I'm on my way back in the ocean, I see all of my ancestors. Follow me. I see all of my ancestors. Some of them is running. Some of them is still standing by the door in slave clothing. I see all. Now I'm getting all the way. I see all of my family lines. Some of them is looking at me, waving at me. I'm crying on the plane. I'm crying on the plane. I sit in the window. I'm fearful of you. So I get all the way to the end. I see this guy, and his eyes are very intense. It was almost a little scary. Then I just embraced him because I'm like, if all of these other people are my family, you got to be my family too. So I'm looking at him and he's looking at me. And no, seriously, I'm looking at him and he's looking at me, and he just has like this sigh of relief that I wasn't afraid. And then he goes back very militant to looking around and watching everybody. So I asked my mom, I said, Mom, what is my granddad's features like? Oh, he's this, and this. Okay, that wasn't him. So what about my great-grandfather? Oh, he was a soldier in the army. He was? Yeah, he was very militant. He didn't smile. He was very strict. I never met my great-grandfather before. My great-grandfather used to come to my mom in her dreams. So to understand that it's crazy because I really feel like my mom was supposed to be the one. She got pregnant at 16 when she was in high school, and she still finished high school, gave me her diploma when she left off the stage. It was supposed to be my mom, I believe, that was supposed to deliver the family. But she got caught up in life. My mom has songs in Tokyo and France. Like, she just let life knock her out the game. Now there's me. Spirituality comes from taking those risks and allowing the universe to see that you really take it serious. You really want to take it on, and that's what it will. Spirituality comes from taking risk and from doing the things that you might not do from fear. That's how I found my spirituality. That's how I found my angels, my team.
Hold on. So you are breaking up, and you're still breaking up a little bit.
What?
I'll say something. Let me see if I can hear you. No. I'm so sorry. Something's going on with your internet.
Okay, what about now? I literally turned my Wi-Fi off.
Oh, yeah. Talk again? No, you're out again.
I literally can see you fine. I can see you so fine and hear you.
Okay, I can hear you now. I can hear you now. You're loud and clear now. So the last thing I heard, though, was your mom confirming that the person that you hugged, you embraced, was your grandfather. So what happened next?
So, yeah, my mom confirmed, and I was just saying that my mom, I believe, she was supposed to be the one, to deliver the family. My granddad, the same one that came to me, he used to come to my mom in her dreams. So my mom saw my granddad's picture on a dresser, and my mom, as a young girl, went to my grandma. I'm like, who's this guy? I see him in my dreams all the time. My mom had never met my great-grandfather either. So I believe that she was supposed to be the one. My mom is an artist. She has music in France and Tokyo, and she just allowed life to knock her out the game. She didn't keep up that decision of not going back. And now there's me. I totally embrace when you reveal me. Okay. So yeah. So I know that through taking that risk, that my angels saw that I'm ready and I'm willing.
Right. So I'm curious, because where you growing up, did you grow up in a Christian home?
No, but I went to Catholic school my whole entire life, from preschool till high school.
Right. So okay. So for the average person, right, who is not so, they don't believe so much. So they may be Christians, or they go to church or whatever denomination. But to describe spirituality, to describe seeing your ancestors like you did, this is probably going to come off as jarring, or like something woo-woo, right? Did you always have that level of spirituality? How did this just happen for you out of nowhere?
Yes. Because remember, I didn't believe in myself. What chances was I taking on myself to have these things unlocked to me? Also, when I left, I said to myself, I have to start eating more. So I like to make homemade pizzas and empanadas and fun stuff like that. Take it out the food. So why the pan that I had it on started shaking on top of the oven. Instead of saying, "Oh my God, I'm so scared," and running away, I said, "Oh snap! I do gotta eat more. I do have to eat right now." So I embraced it. I embraced it, and that only started happening after my trip. Before that, I didn't believe in myself. I didn't think that I could be this. I didn't think that I could take 11 trips in 9 months. I didn't think that I could be on tour with Wu-Tang Clan. I didn't think that I could be speaking with Taraji P. Henson. I didn't think any of that. I didn't. I fake believed in myself because I'm a Leo. And Leos have confidence. We're gonna hold our head high, whether we're screaming inside or dying inside. That's just who we are as Leos. But for real, this just happened. This is a journey since 2020. So 2019, end of 2019, November, December 2019, moving into now. This is all new.
Okay, so what was that experience? We're almost at the end of our chat. What was that experience like? Seeing ancestors, seeing spirits. From your description of how it went, I can tell you weren't afraid, right? But what was it like to after the experience? How did you think about it? What did you do next? How did it impact you moving forward?
Impacted me moving forward to take more risk. If this is what life's gonna be like when I take risk, I'm taking them. Even if I almost get taken, even if I find a room with one of my business partners and I'm going down the steps and I fall and I have a bruise till this day from what happened in November, December 2019, I still will take the risk again and again and again and again. And you have to too. Everybody that's on this live right now, you all have to take the risk. At some point, you have to jump. And like Steve Harvey says, when you jump, the parachute is not going to open right away. I told you, I almost got taken. I bruised my leg. Like, I caught my menstrual all over myself. I didn't have my clothes because it was in the back. Like, there are going to be things that happen. There are going to be things that try to make you feel like this is not the best thing happening in your life. And you have to know, for every negative thing that happens to you, God has something positive on the way. And it will outweigh everything that was negative that you had to wait for until he showed up.
Right.
Telling y'all.
That's quite the experience. That is an amazing experience, Aria. I love how you described it. You said all your ancestors were running on the ocean.
Now, some of them weren't running. There were little kids that was running around. There was a lady at the door, and she was kind of had her arm over, like wrapped around this young boy. They were all in slave clothing, like, you know, like the apron tied around their waist and everything like that. I was not afraid. I was very excited. It made me feel like this risk that I took was worth it. You know, this risk that I took in my life was worth it. Not just for me, but to deliver these people. They was waving at me. I felt like a celebrity before I even was this Aria the boss. Like, to know that you have a spirit team that truly cares about you, truly loves you, you can summon at any point in time. Like, it's such a beautiful experience. It's a beautiful experience that I'm grateful for. And I don't take my ancestors for granted. I don't take God for granted. And I know that He is working in my life, and we are a powerful duo that is going to get the work done that He has sent me here to do. Everybody that's on this live, you may feel like your voice is small, but you have so much work to do here. Because if your voice was small and not needed, you wouldn't be here. You have a big, beautiful voice, and you have to stop thinking that you're the only one that's going through the situation that you're going through. Imagine if I was the only one that was thinking while I was in the shelter, I was the only one in the shelter, or the only one that experienced that. Imagine. So,
Yeah.
you know, we're just able to connect with a lot more people when we are open, you know, about our story and about ourselves. Because you never know who needed to hear that. You never know who's currently going through what you went through, needing to know how you got through it. You know what I'm saying? So somebody has to be brave. Somebody has
Right.
to talk up.
So, my second or third to last question. The level of spirit of your experience. Some people will think that there are people who, because of their religious beliefs or their religious culture, they will not be able to embrace such an experience. What would you say to that person in terms of how we know that if they're not able to embrace that, then they're in their own way, they're standing in their own way, right? How would you make suggestions to that person to get out of their own way?
I would let them know that it's going to be a hard life. You are going to live a hard life. If you don't think that God is the source and He's going to pull you through, you're going to live a hard life if you don't think that we're not at war right now. You know, and there's good people and bad people fighting a war against each other. You are crazy if you don't think that when we pass away, that we're still fighting this battle in the afterlife, or we're still doing, you know, if you do your job, if you are proven to actually fulfill your purpose here, then obviously you would be. I was frozen, wasn't I?
No, you were good. You were good.
Oh, okay. But if you couldn't fulfill your purpose here, how can you go on to be an angel and help someone else fulfill their purpose? So
Yeah,
that's why it's very important, y'all. We have work to do. You might end up a little caterpillar or something if you don't understand the assignment. But I would just tell them. But I would just say, no, all jokes aside, I would just tell them that, like, you know, life is going to be a lot harder when you don't believe. And, you know, I would ask them to compare how their life is now and what they have to lose by building a relationship with God.
Right. Which essentially is building a relationship with yourself. So
yes,
it's important that people understand that. Yeah.
Yes, you're right. You are absolutely right. Because when you find yourself, that's when you actually find God. Because I told you I was going through life. I didn't even know. I went to Catholic school my whole life, but me and God, I knew He was there, but I didn't know Him like that. You know.
Yeah,
I didn't know Him like that. And as I started growing and taking those risks and believing in myself, yes, that's when He was revealed to me, my angels and everything. So yes, self, you're right. Excuse me on that one. Yep.
Yeah, definitely. All right, final question, I think. What would you say okay, before I ask that one, no, this one can go first. What would you say to anyone who's on here on this live right now they know they can feel that fire rolling inside of them. They know that there is more to them than what they are doing, than what they are now. They just need to be able to. They just need a push. One little push. What would you say to that person?
Stop listening to yourself and start talking to yourself. When you could talk to yourself, you become your own cheerleader. I have to, instead of when I'm laying down and I hear, Aria, you being lazy today. You just really being, that I'm listening to myself. No, and I got to talk to you real quick. Hold on. Because I did just work a lot of hours yesterday, and I did just, but you're right. Let me go get up and start my day. Stop listening to yourself and start talking to yourself, and positive talk. You know what I'm saying? And start being around people that can replace those thoughts that you're listening to with positive things. Because a lot of the times the thoughts that we have in our head are from our family members, our friends, people that don't support us. So change your circle and start talking to yourself with positive self-talk. I promise you.
I love that. Stop listening to yourself and start talking to yourself, because that's how you're going to rewire that subconscious mind to think the way that you want it to think. So I love that. And then my final question, I think, is what are 3 or 4 affirmations that you use on a daily basis or often to help you to maintain the state of mind that you want to have all the time?
I am power, I am beauty, I am grace, and I am God's child. Those are like my,
Awesome.
my go-to, but mainly I am God's child. That really helps me get through, because when you know that you are a child of such a powerful source, how could you not wake up and feel powerful? How could you not go out throughout your day and feel like you have superpowers?
Yeah. And it's true. Like, if you think about it, like deeply think about it, right? You are God's child, and that means just like you are your mother's child, you have her DNA, you have possibly some of her abilities and all of that. It's the same thing with God, right? God is the source of all things, and He created you and He created all things, right? And then He gave you power over all of those things, and He told you that you can do anything. Like, I want people to really actually think about what you just said. You are God's child, and we're all God's children, right? That means there are no limitations to what we can accomplish. The only thing we can't do is blow breath into someone else, right? But think about it. There is nothing that we cannot do once we put our mind to it. We can achieve and accomplish and become anything we want to do. And I really want, and you're here on this show, whether you're watching this here on Instagram, or you're seeing a clip of this on TikTok, or maybe you're seeing the video on YouTube, or you're hearing this on my podcast, wherever you're hearing this, I want you to really think about it. You are God's child. That means you have His creative power. That means you have this dominant power. That means you are limitless. Like, really, I want you to think about it. There is no, and what's blocking us is that limited mind that we've developed, or that we've been programmed to believe that is true, and those cultures that we allow to put us in boxes, and those belief systems that says, oh, you can't do that because you are from this religion, or because you're from this family, or because your mom wants you to do that, or because your dad wants you to do that, or your spouse believes. Those are boxes and those are limitations. But you, at the center of your core, the center of your being, you have no limits.
Let me tell you something. Sorry. You tell me something.
Yes. You have no limits. There are no limits, everybody. So Aria, it was a true honor to have you on here. Thank you so much for gracing us with your presence. I truly appreciate it. And I know that we all have similar missions, and I appreciate you a lot for just being you, for stepping into your power, and for showing others that they can actually do it too. It doesn't matter what their circumstances are. Right. Aria is God's child, and so are you, Shima. You are
Yeah.
God's child too. We're all
Amen.
God's children, and we all have superpowers. And I believe that maybe one day I can fly. I don't know. Who knows, right? The
Listen,
possibilities are endless, but call me crazy.
it's your, you know what I wanted to say real quick? Just real quick, I want to just tell y'all the power of manifestation. Like, you can literally manifest the life that you want to live, even if you feel like right now, you know, the spirituality and God and all those talks is too much for you right now. You can literally just start off by manifesting. Write down small goals or goals with dates on it. I literally, I've done this unconsciously so many times. Now I do it on purpose, and that's how I got this ring right here. I manifested my fiance, and you know, we're in love. You know, so I manifested my Amazon Prime deal. I manifested Nigel Barker being one of my mentors. Like, manifest, manifest, and do the work. So thank you
Yeah.
so much, because that's helped me get to where I am too. Manifestation.
Yeah, trust me, it is. I started out on this journey. I wanted to be on other people's podcast, right? to spread the message and to share the vision and to inspire people. And then I was sitting in a clubhouse room last year, ending of October to November, and I listened. There are so many amazing people on Clubhouse, right? And I was listening, and I got to thinking, how could I have these people help me to make my mission, to accomplish my mission, right? And in the moment I asked that question, it felt like my brain opened up, and someone just opened up my skull and just dropped the idea of the show into my head. And by the end of the day, the show the show had a name, and then, no, the show didn't have a name until the second show, I believe. But then that was the beginning of the week, right? And then by Thursday, I had my first guest.
Wow, go you.
And I haven't stopped until now, and it's been so amazing because I get to talk with people like you, Aria. So, I mean,
God
you
put
gotta
that there.
believe. Yeah.
That's the imagination. Steve Harvey says too, that someone else said this to him, that the imagination is God showing you the coming attraction. He put that there for you. He put that there for you, and he said, let me see what she's going to do with it, because he gives us free will. And we got to talk on a separate note, because I got to tell you, he revealed to me actually what the afterlife is like. So,
yeah,
I had a dream that I actually died. And at that time, my mom was having a near-death experience. So I was actually having my mom's, like, you know, hers, like, I was feeling exactly what my mom was feeling. But me, I went to heaven, so I didn't, you know, so I can tell my mom is not a horrible person, so it would make sense. But, yeah, it was a throne of gods. You know, only all one person, but however you view them, however you view him, her, whatever, that's who stood up. So obviously I'm Catholic, so, you know, my version stood
yeah,
up. And my life
right.
played before this screen, and he told me that you're good to go. He told me that I had to fall backwards. It was all darkness behind me. I had to fall backwards. I told him, I said, I'm scared. And he told me, well, that's the way to go. He never told me, and this stuck out to me so much. He never told me, you gotta do it. Or he never told me, go this way. He just said, that's the way to go. So because I'm a Leo and I'm not scurry, I fell back and I broke apart into a million pieces, but I stayed together like a school of fish. I was just flowing. I didn't think about anybody. I didn't even have Leilani at this time. I was just flowing. And I said, wait a minute. I got to tell my mom about this because I'm a mama's girl, okay? Well, no matter what our relationship is, I'm a mama's girl. So I got to tell my mom about this. I called my mom, and my mom was like, I was just screaming your name. Like, my mom has emphysema, asthma, really bad, like, breathing issues. So, you know, she was having an asthma attack in the shower. She couldn't scream to to call my dad. So when she was saying screaming my name, she was like shouting, but no breath, like nothing was coming out. My dad luckily went to the bathroom, and, you know, I told her, Mom, you got to go to the hospital now. We're both crying on the phone. The doctors told her if she didn't go, when she go, both her lungs would have collapsed. So, you know, when I tell you that if you think that this is just, you know, walking out the door, going to work, coming back home, life is so much more than that. You can still walk out the door, go to work, and come back home, but you got to find time to live somewhere in it. You got to find time to see what your gifts are, what talents you have. Like, you got to find time to explore it. You got to jump in at least one time. So I want to yield there. I want to just yield there and just say, you know, that was that God put that there for you, and He was hoping that you did exactly what He wanted you to do with it, and you did. So
I agree, 100%. I agree. So they said, do it scared, right? Do it scared, and trust me. And I know we're so over time, but thing there. Look at me now. Like 2 years ago or so, 2.5 years ago, I wasn't this bold. I was not this confident. I am the girl who never smiled on photographs. Like I tell this story all the time. I probably sound like a scratch record by now. But I have a sister-in-law who would always say to me, Sharika, why are you not smiling? Where is the smile? You look great. Why aren't you smiling? I never smiled. I was shy. I was reserved. I didn't believe in myself. I didn't have any confidence. So, and I didn't grow up with wealth, or not even close to it, right? But I'm telling people this because, again, I want people to understand that it doesn't matter where you are. Like Aria, I didn't even care so much about how I looked, right? There's this thing there that when you don't believe in yourself, when you don't know yourself, and like you said, you grew up Catholic, but that relationship with God and self, it just wasn't there, right? And it wasn't until I stepped into my own life and started making some changes, and I started to have some crazy experiences too. And I started to connect with myself. And then I started doing things like cut off my hair and into one of those cut styles, and now I'm gonna color it because I'm just doing things, right? But I wasn't this person. So it doesn't matter if you're shy. It doesn't matter if you're an introvert. It doesn't matter if you're reserved. It doesn't matter if you think you're not capable. We all have something that we're not just here. None of us are just here.
Right.
None of just us are just here. There is something amazing that we're supposed to do. And like Aria said, if you don't get the message, you're going to come back as a caterpillar. That's so funny. That's so funny. But anyways, we are way over time, and this was a wonderful conversation. Aria, thank you so much for joining us today. And for you guys who are here with us on this live, and if you catch this on YouTube or on my podcast, I want to say again once more, thank you so much for listening, for watching, for being here with us. I hope you were inspired to aspire to become the best version of yourself. And remember that your life is only your perception. And if you're not seeing the things that you're dreaming about in your life today, then your perception needs to change. That's all. Just change your perception, and you would see magic beginning to happening around you. Like you get ideas, and all of the things that I'm doing, what I've done, my YouTube channel, I just decided one day to stop being afraid and just do me. So I'm imploring you to do the same thing, to just believe in yourself and to just do you. And I'm also asking you to purchase a copy of my book. It's called An Introduction to Freedom. And this book is guaranteed to help you connect with that part of you that is missing. That's the purpose of this book. And purchase a copy is available on Amazon, and the link is in my bio here on Instagram. Follow me if you're not yet following me. I have conversations like this every single week with amazing guests, and it's always amazing. We always have things to laugh about, and we always have serious things to share as well. So if you're not following me, follow me here on Instagram, and comment on the live and let us know how what you got out of it and so on. So until next week, it is goodbye for now, and thank you so much once again, Aria, and thank you guys for joining us.